Hey guys, welcome to the Crystal Desire podcast, episode 4. If you enjoy what we do here, please give us a like, follow, or subscribe to help grow the channel. So, pretty much what this episode is about is the reaction to the Thriller boxing event, with the main event being Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. So, first of all, we opened up with, I'm going to butcher these guys' names, Jamaine Ortiz and Sulaiman Segawa. It was your typical boxing match. Both guys were very highly skilled, great hands, great footwork, really high-level boxing stuff. Typical boxing event. And pretty much in the end, Ortiz ended up taking it with a nice body shot, winning the fight. The second fight was Badou Jack versus Blake Mckernan. Yes, I'm going to butcher a bunch of names today. So this fight was a little bit different than the first one because you could tell that clearly Badou Jack was a way better boxer. Blake actually did put up quite a good fight. You know, he landed some good hits, but Jack was just way better than him. And Jack ended up taking the fight by decision, if I remember correctly. But then this is when a whole boxing event completely changed. And this is the thing that I think is really important, is that it went from high-level boxing to celebrity boxing match. And that's when we had YouTuber Jake Paul fight retired NBA star Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson being 36, first to have a 3-time NBA slam dunk competition. He was a renowned point guard, one of the best. And Jake Paul, brother of the super famous YouTuber Logan Paul, age 23. So yeah, first impressions of like this fight. I think it's important to remember that neither of them are real boxers. They're not professional boxers. They're celebrity boxers. So first impression is that when you see them actually fighting, neither of them were that amazing, that good. But I will say that they did have something there. Literally rookie, less than rookie, I would say, level boxing. Some people will argue better than rookie boxing, but I wouldn't even say that it's high-level amateur boxing. That's for sure. I wouldn't say that. So pretty much the tale of the fight, man, is Nate just kept charging at him. They stayed clenched. And the one thing that seemed to land very well for Jake Paul was his right hand. Where first round, he threw an overhand right, and it connected, and that was the result. Pretty much, well, actually, that's the second knockdown. The first knockdown, he was holding the back of his head, trying to say, oh, he hit me in the back of the head, but that wasn't necessarily true. He hit him in the back of the ear, which is still legal. He dropped him. It took him about 8 seconds to get up, something around there, 8 seconds to get up. And then within seconds, he rushed at him. Again, Nate Robinson rushed at Jake Paul. And Jake Paul pretty much pulled him forward and he fell to the ground. They got up, they started up again, bell rang, they went to their respective corners. It was in the second round that things got really, really, really bad. So pretty much the picture tells the story. He comes out again, they kind of do a couple clenches, and then he drops him with another overhand right, if I'm correct. He dropped him with another overhand right. He got up, rushed at him right away, and ate literally a right hook. And dropped him out. He was out cold. He was asleep for a long period of time. It's not a good look. It's definitely not a good look for him. He was talking about how he was gonna represent all NBA athletes and all this, and it was just really not a good look. I'm gonna say, when it comes to celebrity boxing matches, I think it was a good first try. A good first try. And the chances of him beating Jake Paul, now that you see it, it's something that I don't think anybody could have predicted. But, and some people could have, but it's just that, is that people are not so familiar with Jake Paul and his boxing skills. So, in my mind, even in my mind, a pro athlete would do better. But not necessarily true, the result. So, one thing that I will say is that Jake Paul has better boxing habits. Has better, small little better boxing habits. I notice he likes to duck under jabs and punches, and he also likes to throw the right hook when somebody's coming in. He likes to, like I said, duck, throw the overhand. These are the things he likes to do. So he has some better habits than Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson's chin was up there. He wasn't really nice and tucked in. He wasn't guarding his jaw. So in the end, he pretty much slept. And of course, Black Twitter had to come out, and the memes just overflowed pretty much with, him going to sleep. And he, like I said, he was asleep for a while, man. It took a while before, maybe I'd say 3, 4, 5, 7 minutes, something like that. Anywhere between that period of time before they even got him on his butt and then into a chair. And it was not good. So the memes are flowing in. You're definitely going to see them all day today. Gonna shock the world, bro. Stephen Curry. I see. No lies. And of course, they're going to get worse and worse as the day goes on. So pretty much, it brings an interesting topic to the table where he's not a real boxer. So should he get paid more than actual boxers, or more than, for example, MMA fighters? And I thought about this for a very long time. And the answer that I came up with is yes, he should get paid. In a sense, unfortunately, more. And the reason why I would say is because that's what people want to see. Whatever people want to see, that's what's going to sell and make the most money. Now, is this a good or bad thing? I'm not 100% sure. But I think that it could be turned into a good thing where you put these guys on a card, and maybe it will allow other fighters to make more money. Usually, like I know with MMA fighters, it's a strict purse. I don't know if they get, I don't think they get PVP. I don't know if boxers get PVP, but it definitely boosts the rating. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. However, I will say, He is not a pro boxer. He is not a pro athlete. And the person he's calling out now is the notorious one, who, in my personal opinion, this guy, if Jake Paul fights notorious Conor McGregor, he's going to get knocked out. He's going to get knocked out. Conor McGregor's not the greatest boxer, but he's still a real fighter. And it's going to be night and day when you see Conor McGregor get in that ring and pretty much knock him out. This is no joke. This guy's a real fighter. He's got some boxing skills. He's got some footwork. That's what he specializes in MMA, is his hands. He loves to stand and throw, and he knocks guys out like that. So Jake Paul tries to fight this guy, Conor McGregor, a real fighter, a professional fighter. I don't know that it's going to go well. It would also be interesting to see him do an MMA fight, but I don't think that he'll get paid enough to do an MMA fight. So it's better for him to stick in boxing. The reason why I say an MMA fight is I believe what are their last names? The Paul brothers, they both have an American wrestling background. So technically, he has a little bit of hands, but I wouldn't say professional hands. Amateur, somewhere around there, less than amateur hands. And if I am correct, he has a pretty strong grappling background. So this would make an exciting fight. But obviously the money's not there. Boxing would be where it's at. But I think it's not such a great career move for him to go after Conor McGregor. And it's funny because, and this is how I feel conflicted about this, because this is like literally the biggest part of the event, is literally celebrity boxing, which in a sense, they're not even professionals, they're not even, it's just that everybody's gonna be talking about this, and I see why. It's probably the biggest part of the event, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. So I see that it could lead to a lot of better celebrity boxing matches, which they could, or MMA fights, which they could throw onto certain cards to boost the ratings. So in my personal opinion, I don't think Jake Paul should fight Conor McGregor. In my personal opinion, hear me out, I think he should fight his brother. Now, why do I say he should fight his brother Logan Paul? They're both doing the celebrity boxing thing. Two, I feel like Jake Paul, the little brother, he's always been living in the shadow of Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I don't think he's taking the boxing thing as serious, whereas Jake Paul is. Logan Paul's doing his whole podcast thing and stuff like that. The other reason why I would say this needs to happen is because there's kind of some unfinished business, which some of you might know if you follow these guys, these brothers and stuff like that. Personally, Logan Paul, he did something, he had a scandal. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that scandal. I don't want to bring it up because I just don't want to talk about that. It's the topic of it. So he had a scandal and he pretty much played stupid, but everybody knew that he was playing stupid. So it would definitely be nice to see his younger brother wipe that stupid grin off of his face. Mind you, I have no personal problem with him as a person, but you know that it was kind of a douchebag thing that he did back then. Let's just say that. So that would be cool. Not only that, brother versus brother, living in his shadow, And the unfinished business that I was talking about is they have a pretty interesting history where pretty much this dude, Logan Paul, slept with one of his girlfriends that he was crazy in love with, and things got really bad, and hey, I say payback. Payback. Now, if he doesn't want to fight his brother, why not fight other super famous YouTubers, the guys who have the followings? So, my first guy, I'll say, why don't you fight him? Simeon Panda, if I said that right. Second guy, Larry Wheels. Third guy, Mike Rashid. Okay, now I get what you guys are saying. These guys are way too big, way too strong. Mike Rashid actually has a bit of a boxing background. He might actually hurt them. So why not fight the most powerful YouTuber of all time? PewDiePie. It's literally celebrity boxing matches. It's literally anybody who's down to do it. So why not PewDiePie, one of the most powerful YouTubers? Why not? So going on from that, the biggest event, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. So this was very. Everybody was waiting for this. Everybody was excited. Nobody knew what to expect when it came to this. I didn't know what to expect when it came to this. I was a little bit scared because I knew that I wasn't going to get this. I was going to get this. And that's not to hate on them. The skills are still there. They're both very dangerous men. But what I will say is that they're much older. Now, I had my reservations about the fight, but it was actually pretty good. I was surprised. It was pretty good. Though they looked like this, the fight was pretty good. And to be quite honest with you, I thought that it would be Roy Jones Jr. who would be the more dangerous man. But it seemed like they were pretty equal for the most part. So pretty much the breakdown of the fight is... it was pretty interesting because when you look at the fight, it's just that. Mike Tyson still had the reaction time. He was ducking, he was bobbing and weaving, he was catching Roy Jones Jr. with the hook to the body, the uppercuts to the body. He was catching him a few times in the head. I wouldn't say he was riddling him with hits, but he was catching him, and I was very surprised. And I noticed as well that Roy Jones Jr. was having a little bit of problems keeping up with him. And in my opinion, Roy Jones Jr. didn't really have an answer for anything that Mike was doing except to clench up and try and hold him and try and get him tired. But Mike Tyson was very active, surprisingly, very active. The footwork was there, but it was not 100%, but you can tell it was the footwork of an older legend. So sometimes he would throw these big haymaker hits, and his feet would go swinging in the air in the beginning of the fight. After that, he kind of calmed down a little bit, and he was getting tighter. He was bobbing and weaving, catching him, and Roy Jones Jr. didn't really have an answer to a lot of Mike Tyson's movements, attacks, but he did hold his own pretty well. He did land a couple hits, nothing significant. I would say Mike had a couple significant hits. Roy was really trying to hold him at a distance, but that didn't work too well for him. So pretty much going into it, they said they went to decisions, which I was a little bit surprised because watching Mike at the beginning of the fight, I was like, no, Mike's going to knock him out, man. Mike's going to really hurt him. And it went to decision, and they called it a draw. I believe they called it a draw because it was an exhibition match. It was just for fun. I think the money's going to charity. I think Mike Tyson made something like $10 million off the fight, so that's pretty good. And yeah. But if you ask me, I would have said Mike Tyson clearly won that. So, and that kind of opens up the question, should they make it a thing? A legend league with the celebrity boxing type of thing? Maybe should Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson? I don't know. It would be interesting. I guarantee it would make sales. People would tune in to watch. Or maybe we should just keep celebrities with celebrities. Have something like Mayweather and 50 Cent. They've had a beef for a little while. Why not have them fight? It would definitely be entertaining with 50 Cent and his shenanigans, just his memes, his online assaults, these things. This stuff is always hilarious. Everybody wants to see that. It would definitely bring a lot of pay-per-view in. So it brings the question, should there be a legend league? Who should Mike Tyson fight next? I've heard, small rumors here and there that maybe he should fight Anderson Silva. Because Anderson Silva just retired and pretty much nobody wants to take him. So it begs the question, who is next? The one thing that I will say for sure is Real Deal Holyfield is getting ready to step back into the ring. And I'm pretty sure he wants a piece of Mike. So you tell me, would you guys like to see, more celebrity boxing matches? Do you think that it's a good idea that they do celebrity boxing matches? Is it good for the sport? Is it bad for the sport? Leave it in the comments below. What do you think about legends fighting, coming back to fight? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Will it sell out? Will it, should they put it on more events? These kind of things. I'm still going through that in my head. I don't know the answer to that, to be quite honest with you. Did I enjoy it? I was surprised. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So you guys tell me, what do you think? Should they do it? Should they not do it? Comment below, So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Crystal Desire podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show. And I will see you next time. Peace.